Welcome back, everybody. So today I have the honor of sitting next to John from Green Door Distilling Company. We're going to go ahead and take a look at his facility in Kalamazoo, Michigan, see how he does the process, and talk about some spirits. So go ahead and join me. Let's get this going. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Brad, and this is John from Green Door Distilling Company.
Yep.
Took us about 3 or 4 takes for me to get that, but thank you for having me, and we'll get right into it. How does the process start with, say, like a vodka?
Sure. Yeah, so we're a grain glass distillery, which means that we make actually everything here. So we take it from the literal bag of grains all the way through to the glass bottle.
Okay.
So that's the definition of a grain to glass distillery. And for our vodka in particular, it seems to be one of our most popular spirits. We actually use 100% corn for the recipe. And the reason that we do that is we want it to be very calm, a little bit on the sweeter side, and a little bit of a creamier kind of spirit.
Okay.
So corn has those characteristics as a distillate. So chose 100% corn. And we use a phenomenal grains from Virginia. I have some good family friends down there. They run a farm. They're about 3 or 4 generations farmers. So I use them, and we take that grain, take about 1,300 pounds of that corn, and it's already ground up for us. We put it into our mash tun, which is essentially the same thing you'd use for brewing, mash tun, lauter tun, and we actually take and we saturate those grain particles with water, and we use specific targeted temperatures for corn to break down and gelatinize those grains. And what that does is that allows us to access starches in the grains, and then we convert those starches into sugars. So really, the mashing process is a starch to sugar conversion process. So that process takes about 6 hours. We'll do that for twice a day, usually 4 days a week, and we'll convert usually 1,200 gallons a day of mash. So from there, that's the first step, but basically out of 3 of making whiskey or vodka. And after step 1, we transfer that mixture to fermentation tanks, where we'll house it and actually allow the yeast that we add to consume all that sugar and actually create all the alcohol, all the esters, all the flavor profiles for us. That process takes about 5 to 7 days. And once we're done with that, we have anywhere from 10 to 11% alcohol content. Then we take that mixture, we transfer it into Stella, that's still behind us, and we essentially extract that alcohol content. So that 10 to 11% is pulled out, along with a lot of the esters and a lot of the flavor that was created from the yeast. Yeah, and then the result of that is a 190 proof distillate, which we then proof down to 80 proof, and we actually bottle as our Get Lost vodka.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, and you said that's probably your most popular spirit that you have. What are some of the other spirits that you guys offer?
Yeah, so we offer an unaged whiskey, which we call First Ascent whiskey, because it's the first kind of product that we made. And we're a big adventure branding company, so we love the outdoors, we love to hike. I personally am very much into the outdoors, so I wanted to bring those elements into the company. And we're trying to come up with a name for our first product, and it seems like every product, every time you start a path or a journey or hike, there's some elevation climb. So we said First Ascent whiskey because it's meant to symbolize the first hurdle. So we have that. We actually have an aged version of that coming out in 3 weeks called Second Ascent. So we're just going to follow that in a series. We have a honey whiskey, and then which is really nice. It's actually based off the grain bill of First Ascent, except we add local raw honey to it, which brings a beautiful honeycomb natural backing to the spirit. We also have an abandoned gin, which was ranked top 50 in the country this year, which is really exciting. We designed that to be very much like gins when they first originated, very bold, very spicy, very, very much a whiskey drinker's gin. So we have that product, obviously our Get Lost vodka, and then we also have a coffee liqueur that we make. And the coffee liqueur, we use locally ground and roasted coffee from Euphoria Coffee Company in Portage, Michigan. And we make cold brew coffee, combine that cold brew coffee with vodka, molasses, and spices. Essentially, you have a 40 proof, similar to Kahlua kind of coffee.
Yep, that's the one I want to try.
It's pretty good.
And then you mentioned, as we were walking around taking all these pictures you guys are seeing, you guys do like one-offs or specials. How often do you guys do that? Is it just, oh, I've got this left over, I've got a small batch, let's try this? Or how does the one-offs play into your portfolio? I would say.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of both. We do what's called our Explorer Whiskey Series.
Okay.
So that's the official side of that kind of fun experimentation. And we release every 6 months a product.
Oh, okay.
And it's almost always a collaboration with a local brewery or winery.
Okay.
So the first one we did was with One Well Brewing Company in town. We took their blonde ale that has jalapenos added to it, so their jalapa beer, distilled it into a jalapeno whiskey, and then sold that. And that was really the one that kicked it off.
Yep.
So then the recent one we did was with Latitude 42 in Portage. We took their Lucifer's Cuvée, which is a barrel-aged chocolate stout.
Yep.
Turned that into a whiskey. Now we're barrel aging that, so we'll release that at the end of this year. So that every 6 months there's a big release.
Okay.
But really in between that, it's any time that we have a leftover grain. Maybe we have 300 pounds of a grain, and then we have a new grain order coming in. We could just add that to our inventory, or we can do something fun with that.
Right.
Grain.
Okay.
Or any time that somebody approaches me about something fun, we'll throw other things in there. But it's almost always 2 a year minimum.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
A lot of what we take, though, is something that has slightly different flavor profile
Than what
the
they
original
wanted.
beer.
Okay.
So, like One Well, they did a yeast experiment where they were trying to make their jalapa, and they wanted to try a new yeast.
Okay.
And they used the new yeast, and it just had this additional clove profile that wasn't in a typical beer profile.
Okay.
So then they have all this beer that doesn't match
What it should
what
be.
they should. So then basically they have no use for it.
Okay.
So we're taking those. So nothing with infections, but
Okay.
anything that's kind of just a little different.
Okay.
And instead of creating a whole new product for them, they would rather just give it to us. We'll turn it into something fun, and then they can just make another batch, what they typically do.
And you guys bottle everything here.
We do.
Every tank, everything. They actually bottle everything here. Do you sell it on the website? How does that go? Do they have to stop in here to buy it?
Yeah, so we're working on selling it online through Ezra's right now.
Okay.
They're basically a third-party online distributor.
Okay.
But the way Michigan works, you can sell out of Michigan, but I can't sell
in Michigan.
And that's our biggest demand right now is people who might be in the UP is a big one that we get.
Right.
And then we're only in about 40 stores up there.
Okay.
And it's a very, very big area to only be in 40 stores. So that's where it really help us.
Okay.
But for right now, we're in about 275 stores in the state.
Okay.
So you can go to our website. There's a Spirits Finder page.
Okay.
To check that out. But most of our sales actually come from on site.
Okay.
Yep, so people can come in. They can try samples before they buy a bottle, or they can come in and actually get full-blown cocktails too.
Yep. And what's your website?
Yep, our GreenDoorDistilling.com.
Okay. So you guys also use barrels, so this kind of does tie into home brewing. Mm-hmm. How long do you age the spirit in the barrels? Is there a good time, a good time span, or tell me a little bit more about the barrel aging?
Yeah. So we do two main types of barrel aging. One is what we call our experimental series. So we'll age product in smaller barrels. Just to get an idea on how the barrel is going to affect that flavor profile. So what it does is it kind of gives us like a spectrum of where it's going to go, how the esters that are created are actually going to interact in the maturation of the barrel aging process. So we do that.
Okay.
And then we also sell those as limited edition releases, so it's kind of fun to do that. And then we actually scale them up into full-size barrels.
Okay.
So most of our larger barrel profiles are 30s and 53-gallon barrels.
Okay.
The 53s we usually age for about 2.5 years is
Okay.
what the bourbon that we're shooting for right now. We just pulled some bourbon this spring that was 2.5 years old.
Okay.
So that's the big ones. But in the experimental series, usually we're about 5 to 7 months we'll age those.
Okay.
And then the beautiful thing about that is I love home brewers. I love just people who want to do something, people who have a passion.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of people who come in for our tours on the weekends, our distillery tours, are usually home brewers.
Yep.
Or they've made wine at home, a lot of fun things like that. So what I want to do is be able to give back to that community
Right.
as much as I can, which is where our nice 5-gallon barrels
Yep.
come in handy. They're perfect for one 5-gallon batch of beer.
Yep.
So we actually do resell those once we're done with them.
And talking before this, they go like hotcakes.
They do. Yeah, they actually sell faster than the 53-gallon,
Yeah.
the larger barrels. All the time. I think I have a waiting list of probably about 25, 30 people
Cool.
For the 5-gallon barrels.
Cool. So we're going to go ahead and cut it here. We do want to do more stuff. We don't want to bore you guys too much. So go ahead and let us know what's your Instagram, what's your Twitter, where can people contact you or find out more about you.
Absolutely. So the best way to keep in touch with us is our Facebook page. It's Green Door Distilling. And our Instagram is Green Door Distilling as well. So is our Twitter. So we made it super easy for you guys. And that's just the best way to follow us. Yeah. Our website's a good place to get all the overview information. And then all the fun, constant updated content is on Instagram and Facebook.
Cool. So make sure you guys follow them all over the place. And until next time, happy brewing.